Hi, this is Sarah Linger with PianoKeyFinders.com and welcome to another I'm at the Piano Now What videos. This one is a 2-5-1 arpeggio for the right hand series in all the keys. And it's going to sound like this. Okay, so that is a 2-5-1 arpeggiated passage in the key of C major. So it's a D minor 7, G7, C major 7 pattern. I will, after doing this video, create a series of 12 videos for each one of the individual keys, which will be part of this playlist. This one is the first where I actually have a PDF that has the pattern written out in sheet music in the treble clef. And it's done in two ways. It's done with accidentals so that you see sharps and flats written in the music. And it's also done with key signatures. So whatever the key signature of the key that we're doing, it'll be on the music as well. And the pattern is a 2-5-1 pattern. And I use this 2-5-1 card, which is part of the chord progression set. Again, links in the description. I use this to get my students started with this because their reading level might not be up to reading all 12 keys, even though in the beginning their playing level is up to playing all 12 keys. And so we use this as, I don't want to say training wheels because that makes you think that you're 6, but it's like it's a assistive device or a tool that will help you get all of those keys. This particular exercise started when I was working with my girl group, Deceptive Cadence, and I wanted to get the musicianship up a little bit with the group, and part of that is getting everybody comfortable in playing in all of the different keys. Another thing when you're doing jazz is it's important to understand the relationships of the chords because this 2-5-1 progression is like the king of kings, the queen of queens of all of this jazz music. And so the more that you play it and the more that you hear it, you're going to see it, you're going to notice it, and it's going to make things a lot easier. This is also one that's not just limited to jazz. I was playing a piece of English Suite by Bach, and the left-hand pattern was a 2-5-1-4 followed by 2-5-1 in the minor key in the key of G major. And I think maybe 10 years ago, if I was playing that, I might not have recognized it. It was just, would have been reading, but I wouldn't have heard what it sounded like. I wouldn't have noticed it. I would have just played it. The going through all of the keys has had all of these really positive unintended consequences. The facility, namely the ease in which my students are being able to play on all of the keys has gotten way, way better. In addition to the facility, the understanding of keys, because we're not tying this yet to a whole lot of reading, there's a lot more ear training going on. I think I would rather have people play and listen to what they're playing as an ear training exercise rather than simply listening to music. I mean, obviously that's good too, but here you're associating the sounds with a physical action. The idea here is that you're not going to get it overnight. I would recommend doing 1 to 2 keys a day. And over the course of a week, if you're doing 2 keys a day, you'll have hit all 12. And, 5 or 6 or 10 times each key each day. And then over the period of a few months, these things are going to be falling under your fingertips. It's more important, I think, to be playing it than it is to be reading it. And if you think about when you're learning how to drive a car, you're not actually learning how to build an internal combustion engine or do the electronics for an e-car. If you're learning how to tell the time, you probably aren't learning how to build a watch. So here, I want you to learn how to play this, and then over time, as you get more comfortable playing it, then you're going to get a little more curious about the theory that goes behind it. And I think that's that bottom down, learn this and play this and then understand it approach is really helpful, particularly for my adult students who want to play and the theory stuff is overwhelming to them. There are a lot of things that are in this that I think you'll start noticing over time. You're going to start noticing the relationship of the 2-5-1. So when you see it in your music, you're going to see D minor followed by a G followed by a C, and you're going to find an A followed by a D followed by a G. And the more you see that, the more when you see it in a lead sheet, you're going to be, wait a minute, that's a 2-5, or that's a 2-5-1. So that's going to help you recognize and play what you're playing in different music. You're going to get more comfortable on all of the keys because these exercises use all of the notes of every major scale for each one that you're doing. So as a pianist, I'm getting way more comfortable in playing things in the key of E flat because this exercise drills E flat. Another thing to keep in mind here is that for all of these, the fingering for your right hand is going to be the same. So you practice with consistent fingering and you're going to find that it's going to be way easier. As I said, we use the card in the beginning because the card in the beginning makes it possible to be accurate. The fewer mistakes you make when you're learning, then the easier and quicker it is going to be to learn, which doesn't mean that you are going to like do this one day and be in Carnegie Hall the next. It means that you're going to do this one day correctly. And so the next day when you come back, it's going to be easier and you're not going to have to relearn it because you got it wrong the first time. I'm going to demonstrate the one in C major. So I'm lining up the yellow arrow with C, and I'm going to change the angle of the camera so that, let's see, so that you can see my hand a little bit better here. Okay, and for the individual keys, I will have a different angle that will be a little closer to the hand, but I want to give you a couple pointers here. This right here is the C major 2-5-1. It has finger numbers for all of the notes. Some people think that that's a little bit overkill. I think that when you're learning something, the more things that you have to help you get it right, it saves you time. Over here, there's your right hand, and it shows that your thumb is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because this is for the right hand only. So there, my right hand is. The color coding, D minor 7, G7, C major 7, corresponds to the D minor 7, G7, C7, or 2-5-1 on the card. The notes are the ones that are right, the keys that you're playing are right underneath the notes. And you're going to go to the right, to the left, and then to the right, and I'm going to drop down and add an octave. One of the most common mistakes that students make in the beginning when they're playing something like this is that they hang on to the thumb. And so when you're practicing this, you're going to use 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're using all 5 fingers of your hand. And as soon as you play one note or one key, you're going to slide off. So I'm only playing one key at a time. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there is a little jump between the D and the C at the bottom of it. And in addition to starting with straight eighth notes like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, you're going to be moving into swing eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Again, this is in the key of C, so you could also be thinking D minor, G, C, to help you remember that D is related to G, which is related to C. You could also play these chords blocked, and you can do them with the left hand. So these are things that will be coming along later. So you can see that this is going to get you starting to play things that sound melodic. These patterns will come up in other things as well. There's a major 7th. And that starts with a minor 7th arpeggio. Anyway, that is a taste of what a 2-5-1 arpeggiated pattern for the left hand is going to sound like. And the more you do it, the better you're going to become. And then in a few months, you'll start having all of these, oh my gosh, I got that. I understand this. My hand's doing what I want. In the beginning, your hand might not be so cooperative. Using all 5 fingers, moving around through an arpeggio, those are challenging things. So be patient with yourself. Keep in mind that we're all terrible. So the first time I was doing this, I was terrible. And then the second time I was less terrible, but honestly still bad. And then over time, I was getting better and better and better, and now I can do this in my sleep. Part of the reason I can do this in my sleep is because in order to record the videos, I have to practice them a whole bunch so that I don't make mistakes on the videos. Fortunately, I'm doing little videos, like 1 key at a time. And because I'm only doing 1 key at a time, that makes it possible to not make as many mistakes. So keep that in mind. You don't have to do it all. Do one, but do it great. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but no, sign up to the newsletter to get the PDF, and head over to pianokeyfinders.com if you want to get the cards, because the cards are awesome. And thank you